It's called a haircut. It's called low maintenance.
I was going to say it's a very
low maintenance haircut.
Very low maintenance. Very close.
All right, simple question.
Yeah.
Do you think that censorship is a tool of tyranny and dictators and the like?
Yes.
Okay, good answer. Do you also think that a government that would use its security forces or police to exercise political will instead of the will of the people, do you think that would be classed as a tyrannical government?
Potentially, yes.
Well, there might be some mitigating circumstances, but generally you've just confirmed that in the 1930s, what forced the whole world into a world war because one government was doing such things. Now, last question. When we're going on about shopkeepers having just as many rights as I have. Freedoms.
Yep.
Now, just to clarify, whenever I've gone into a shop in the last 40 years of my life, there has never ever been any shopkeeper who has refused me service. The only time there's any sort of inclination of that happening now is when everyone's following a draconian, shall we say, health regulation of that most shopkeepers think or on the understanding that it's a law for everyone to wear a mask. As soon as you walk into that shop, you must be wearing a mask and you must use the QR code. Well, that's not exactly correct, is it?
So, no, there's a state law that requires shopkeepers to do certain things in relation, or certain types of shopkeepers to do things in relation to the QR code and checking it. Yeah.
Right, no, well, it's actually not law about the QR code. If I walked into a shop and someone said you have to use the QR code, I'll go, no, I don't.
No. You can also do other options. So you can do things like a physical sign-in or something like that. So there's lots of constituents that don't have mobile phones or aren't particularly tech savvy, and they can sort of like write down their details instead.
No, I run through the option of actually giving people my details if that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say I'm happy to give you my first name and my phone number, and you can ring the phone number right now just to verify it's me, if you really want. But any other details after that are private, and they shouldn't be given to anyone, right?
I actually don't know what it says in relation to that, the requirement on businesses. I'm not sure.
It does. I've read
I'm not sure if it specifies particular sorts of details or if it just says enough to contact someone.
Yeah, contact details.
Yeah.
Well, my name and my phone number is enough for contact detail.
Okay.
Right. Now, see, that's the thing. When it also comes to the mask mandate, a lot of shops that I'm seeing are saying you must wear a mask or you must. See, that's ill-informed. The government should be correcting people on that and giving them the correct information. Whether it be federal government telling the average Australian that they need to look up what the state regulations are, or whatever, is irregardless. If one branch of the government sees another branch of the government doing something wrong, shouldn't they correct them?
Well, I mean, you're right. There has always been a question around what the public perceives to be going on versus what legally is actually going on. And you're right, there's times when the federal government probably should communicate better or stronger that it's not the one driving something, or it's not their law, or it's a different level of government's law.
Right, now I've seen a few shorts. There's a site on YouTube called Queensland Parliament Watch.
Okay.
And they put up a couple of quick clips about Morrison going on about we're going to be having mandates. I could show you the video. I'd have to stop recording to show you the video.
Okay.
But the summary is about they're going to have mandate vaccines by October and so on. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Now, here's the sad part. I think the government's actually giving out misinformation as well.
Okay.
Because it's not nothing's 100% certain. All the scientific evidence I've seen and researched and so on, I haven't seen a proper debate. All I see is one side of a narrative going down. So I'm going to let it go at there because I can't see a shopkeeper shouldn't be able to discriminate against me because I have a medical condition not to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess the two closest examples I'd give about things that were very widespread practice even before COVID. One of them, for instance, was a whole lot of financial institutions, banks and others, used to have rules around not covering your face and your head with helmets and things like that walking into their businesses because they were really worried about, bank robberies and other crime and so on. So that was always a requirement that they used to impose, and it was their freedom to do that as business owners. The other example is actually,
they never stopped Muslim women from walking in with their burqas and the whole coverings,
I
did
guess
they?
the point was it was their freedom to impose it what they wanted. So what they did and didn't do isn't the point that I'm making. And the other example I'd use, and it's great that you don't know about this because, it didn't apply to you, but actually when I ran the Retail Association, it was very, very commonplace for lots of shops out there, retailers and so on, to actually have lists of people that they were not allowing onto their premises on the basis of previous shop lifting and crime against the business. So there are.
Well, that's a pretty common sense sort of approach, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I guess the point is that's the examples that I would give first off the top of my head about how businesses have always had these freedoms to not let people into their shops under certain circumstances.
But if they denied me entry because of a medical condition I've got, that's bigotry, isn't it?
Well,
that's discrimination and bigotry.
So potentially there's a health discrimination thing there, yeah, potentially.
I'm sorry, Ross, I have to interrupt, but
right.
Deepak's had a 2:30 with Trevor and he's got another lady waiting.
All right, thanks, Trevor.
Sorry,
Bye.
to cut you short.